Ironwood Games. This is Andrew, and we're back to take the draft deck out for a spin. So we drafted last time what ended up being this blue-green deck without necessarily clear win conditions on that, but that's all right. We're going to try out a lot of cards. We're going to just try and play a good, solid creature-based game of Magic and hope we don't run into any bombs. So let's see how that works. Again, this is a premier draft, so it's until we have 3 losses or 7 wins. Most likely we get the 3 losses first, but we'll see. So let's jump in. Right. Okay. This is a very slow hand. I go first, which means I don't draw. It has a turn 3 play, which doesn't do anything. Has a turn 4 play, which will crew the carve. And it potentially has a turn 5 play, which lets us search out some more things. We had a decent curve and some lower things. I hate to send back something that's kind of decent. But going first, if our opponent has a turn 2 and a turn 3 play that actually affect the board, we're just so far behind, I think, that I don't want to risk it. Ooh, I don't know. It's hard. This might be a keep. Definitely, if I was playing with friends casual, I would keep this just to see if we get there or not. And I'm debating it also just because it's our first time out with this deck. If we draw a couple of our 2-drops and things, you know what? I've convinced myself. We're going to do it. If my opponent has a quick start, particularly they have, 1, 2, 3, and can get 6 power on the board attacking us before we can put up some decent defenses, then we're in trouble. But if they also end up with a slow hand, they did take a Multa 6. And we did draw a 2-drop here. So we're not feeling incredibly punished. And I said I think there was a pretty good chance. If I remember from the deck, we had 5 or 6, maybe more, 2s, things I was willing to play on turn 2. And so I said a pretty good chance, I thought, that we would draw something that works. Now, here's an interesting question. Is I can play the carve, I can attack to get in for 2, because I can't crew the carve, or I can play the Guardian Gladewalker, get a trigger, put a counter, and kind of approach it there. This is interesting. I think I'm going to play the carve because if we don't draw a land next turn, yeah, I'm going to attack because I don't mind trading 2 for 1. Like I was saying, if I don't draw a land next turn, I play the Gladewalker, can crew the carve. Its attack trigger gives me another card to look at. Which, if it's a land, I get to put on the battlefield and kind of reclaim my missed land drop. I might do that either way. Okay, looks like he's got a similar deck here. Oh, he tapped him for mana. I was trying to figure out what happened here. We definitely didn't get the land, so we're going to go with the play we described. I don't think Broken Wings for this Pilfering Hawk is worth it. I think I'm going to put the counter on Glade Walker. Elvish Warmaster seems like a bigger target still. So the nice thing with this is I can crew with just the new creatures, and then go to attackers and attack with both. If he wants to trade his Sculptor away... Okay, so it's not a land. Yikes. Which is really unfortunate. I had a feeling he wouldn't trade his Sculptor, and so we could just get in for a decent hit. But if he did want to, we know this Warmaster isn't as valuable as it appears. And he doesn't know that, so he might have been willing to kind of risk it for that. Okay, so this now he's got kind of that soul tie going on that we talked about. That's an interesting thing. Right now it doesn't do a whole lot. And now the question is, do we want to throw a Broken Wings just to clear off the field? I think 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we're just going to go ahead and attack with the Carve. So kind of crew up. Go to combat. And I know I want to attack with the Carve. I'm trying to decide if I want to attack with the Warmaster as well. If he blocks with the 0/4, do I care? No. I have these pumps. I have other stuff I haven't done. Let's do it. I'm not worried about him taking 4 on the return. And I desperately need to get a land off of this attack trigger. And he's got 1 open green. He can make a blue, or I guess any color really, off Jaspera. Oh my goodness. So we might have to play that next turn. Just because it's something. The other option, if he takes all the... I mean, there's no way he takes all of it, because he either chumps here or chumps here. Okay, so he's going to draw a card, discard a card. So he's also digging, I assume, for land. But I want him to... I want to keep the pressure on. So I would love my Icebreaker Kraken. Sounds amazing, but of course, yeah, he can't cast that. So I get discarding that. I've not seen this card, so I want to read this here. One for Snowland, so he's definitely going in snow. And in its battlefield, target opponent controlled on untap. Turn 3 Snowlands you control return. Oh, okay, wow. So yeah, he's gonna just take the easy block. He's only got 2 Snowlands, so he can give -2/-2 to something next turn. Which, again, I'm not worried about. I'll happily trade that. We're gonna end the turn. We're probably gonna Broken Wings on his turn, just to use our mana. We have things to do on 4, 5, and 6 if we do draw into a pocket. Otherwise, as we see, we're keeping the pressure on. He's got his own Giant's Amulet, so that's pretty awesome. One of the reasons we held on to the Broken Wings is for these kinds of things. So what we're going to do is we're going to wait until, since he doesn't have the blue, that's what I was checking, he doesn't have the other blue source to make the token, unless he taps something down here. He can make that, and that's fine. And getting a 4/5 is definitely good. I keep forgetting about Jaspera here. So let's go to attackers. Let's let him get there. I put full control on because otherwise I miss the end points. Okay, so he is going to sacrifice out of fear for my War Master, which again, that's a fine trade. I'm actually willing to take that trade. He does still have the 4/4. Alright, that's passed to end. He's not going to attack. So we're going to destroy his Giant's Amulet. Turn off full control now. Now we'll pass to the end. We know we're drawing Giant's Amulet. I really don't want to play it. But I'm happy to trade my 4/4 card for his 4/4 token. And we're still kind of in a stalemate here. Yeah, this has given us nothing. So that's really unfortunate. So he's double blocked here in case we've got a trick, it looks like. I just need to clear off the 4/4. I'm not worried about the 1/2. On there. And now the question is, because this is a turn 5 play, do I just need to advance my board? And put this out there and keep this guy kind of able to soak up 2 hits, keep him off of some things. I don't think so. I think the board state is kind of even right here, and I'm in a much better spot for the long game when I do eventually draw those lands. Because I have more cards in my hand, and we're pretty at parity on the board. And of course, at this point, I'm not going to attack so that I can block things, hold stuff back. And yes, we desperately need to draw some land. No attacks end turn. If we don't, that's just rough luck. That's rotten luck that we didn't draw another land. Do we add 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards. So we drew another 6 cards and haven't seen another land yet. But that happens. And missing all those land drops has definitely put us behind. I think that guy's a problem. Okay, so there we go. We've got a land. Now the question is, do we want to play a 3/3 or an 0/4? Or I guess 1/4. It does let us grab another land, which guarantees that we have 5. So I would love to get a duel just to be able to do that. But we need to be able to put cards on the battlefield. And that's what I talk about here when I said we're kind of, this is going to make him a 2/4. We're kind of in a better spot. He's almost very nearly top decking. Sure, he's put out a lot on his board, but we've got a lot of things to put on the board too. And I think we're going to catch up here pretty quick. And that's fine. I expect him to come in with this guy. unblockable a couple of times. That's why we need our own Frostpeak Yeti, because then he's on a 3-turn clock. Okay, so that's interesting. We did draw a tapped land. He knows about this one, so we're going to play it anyways. And here the question is, do we play the 5/5 or the 5/4 or a Giant's Amulet? If he has a null, he could create just the blue for it and counter that. Doesn't have enough mana to counter with any other like Disdainful Stroke, one of these. So I think that's the argument against Giant's Amulet, at least this turn, is he's kept one card at least this whole time. And if it is some kind of counter, that makes sense as to why he would have kept that. So we're going to go, we're just sitting back, kind of waiting to take over. We're going to take a few hits from this Frostpeak Yeti. That's just going to happen. In the next couple of turns, when we're able to get a few more big guys on, we might be able to swing past this here and force some blocks, some trades, some things that aren't. That's good for him. To refill his hand, that's fine. But force some blocks or some things that aren't necessarily profitable for him, and then sneak in for the rest of that, because otherwise that Yeti does kill us in 5 turns at this point. And we did use our one kill spell. It wouldn't have killed the Frostpeak Yeti. We do have that bounce, that we can bounce one of these guys. This card is, the Dread Rider, is pretty good at ending out a game. Alright, and here, I'm definitely going to play this one tapped. I really want to play this Frostpeak Yeti because, again, that puts him on a 3-turn clock. He has a couple of creatures. If he uses all his mana, yeah, that's fine. We're going to play, for sure, we're playing Frostpeak Yeti. We need to just get this online and pressure him. Because he has the 4/8, there's really no point in attacking. At this point, it's all about the Frostpeak Yeti pressure. Have him, he needs to have a way to remove it. It's likely he does in green with one of the fight effects. Alright, that's interesting. Yeah, he's gonna recognize he has to start hitting in. I don't know if he... I don't know what he has. He still has that one card, which we've said makes sense as a null or a counter spell. That's a fun card. There's so many things here. We're gonna spend more mana. We've got to go in. Yeah, this Dread Rider is definitely problematic. It takes us down to 7. which puts us at a 2-turn clock here. We can play this Glade Warden. Okay, that's a really good card. See, that's what he needed. Was some way to exile that. So that changes some things. What do we have in here as far as creatures? Just one creature. So let's play... Actually, for the sake of using our mana, we are going to play the Glade Warden. We have 6. Next time we can play this Undersea Invader on a flash. We have 3 we can use here. We can use 3 for the Icehide Troll. Yeah, so he's getting a little more aggressive on this. Yeah, I think if we had drawn a land just one turn sooner, where this would be a little bit different, that's fine. You know, these things happen. These things happen. So our Pilfering Hawk kind of stops him, but this guy still gives us problems. So let's see, he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 blockers. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 attackers. Obviously, he blocks here. Nothing else blocks this profitably. And I can only activate this when I could do a sorcery. So we're pretty dead to whatever he's got. If we go all in, he definitely kills us. So I think I'm going to try and flash this guy in on my next turn. It's hard. The other option, it's a 5/6, is putting both of these on the board. Because that increases the spirit, and that would put 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do that. I don't love it. But between his rider and 5 damage here, yeah, we're not in good shape. And this is going to come out just south of where we want to be. He does have one more creature here to exile for 3. Go in for an unblockable 4. And yuck. Am I right? So his well-timed kill spell definitely took the bite out of our deck. I'll be interested to go back and look at this and see where I could have done differently. I don't know that that mulligan decision was wrong. Yeah, that sucks. I'll just say it. I don't like to lose on those ones that are kind of grindy and close. We got to look at 3 times cards with Raider's Carve. Missed all of those. Had we gotten a land off of one of those, I think this would have come out very differently. If we had, even the turn that it died, gotten a land, I think we had 4 draws. I mean, we said we saw 6 cards. We drew on turns 2 and 3 before this. So I think we had 4 other draws, including the 3 looks off of Carve, without drawing lands. So we had 3, the first 2 turns and the 6th turn or 7th turn. So turns 2, 3, and 7, where we didn't get a land, and then turns 4, 5, and 6 were all non-lands, but those were also ones we had peeked at with Carve and knew they weren't lands. So, I mean, any of those we would have, almost all of those. I think the Invader, the Amulet, and something else, I don't remember, would have gladly gone to the bottom. We would have bottomed those if this was a Scry or a like Explore trigger. So something a little bit different and interesting. Well played to my opponent. Definitely got in and had the tools to sneak right past us and got that kill. Oh, you know what it probably was no, the Frostpeak Yeti we got later. Getting to exile this guy was a great, especially before we get attack with it. Great play for my opponent. Play of the match for him, probably, or play of the game. So yeah, let's call that a game. Go see what we get out here, and then we'll come back for the next game. All right. So thanks, guys, again. Leave some comments. Leave your thoughts. Let me know where I misplayed or what you think we should have done, especially with that opening hand. Should that have been a mulligan? Did it make sense to keep? I still think keeping was solid, but it was close. All right. Thanks, guys.